Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into a really influential source. It's a review of Robert Kiyosaki's classic, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Ah, yes, very well-known book.
Absolutely. And our mission today is to unpack how this book really challenges, a lot of traditional ideas about money, about education, even success. Think of it as a shortcut to understanding a pretty major shift in financial thinking.
Right.
And central to it all is this fascinating contrast Kiyosaki draws between his own dad, highly educated but, well, financially struggling, the poor dad, and his friend's dad, who lacked formal education but was street smart and wealthy, the rich dad.
Yeah, and that contrast really sets up the book's core message right from the start.
Which is what, fundamentally?
Well, Kiyosaki argues that our traditional schooling system, it teaches us how to work for money. Get a good job, earn a salary.
Standard path.
Exactly. But it doesn't really teach us how to make money work for us. And that, for Kiyosaki, is the key difference. It's about a different kind of financial education, one that goes way beyond just academic qualifications.
That's a really big idea. And the review we looked at pulls out some key takeaways that force you to rethink things. Let's tackle the first one. Buy assets, not liabilities. What does he really mean by that? It sounds simple, but...
It does sound simple, but it's actually quite radical for some people. So for Kiyosaki, an asset is anything that puts money into your pocket consistently.
Okay.
And a liability. That's anything that takes money out of your pocket. So the classic example he uses is your house.
Right. Most people think of their home as their biggest asset.
Exactly. But Kiyosaki argues, well, if it's just costing you money every month, mortgage, taxes, upkeep, and not generating income, then it's actually functioning as a liability in cash flow terms.
So true assets would be things like...
Things like rental properties that generate positive cash flow, businesses that can run without you being there all the time, dividend-paying stocks, things like that. Stuff that adds to your income column.
Okay, so it's all about the direction the money flows, which leads nicely into the next point, doesn't it? This idea that financial literacy is more important than a high income. Why isn't just earning a lot enough?
Yeah, because a big paycheck alone doesn't guarantee wealth. Not at all. If you don't have financial literacy, like understanding how money actually works, how to manage it, invest it, make it grow, then even someone earning a high income can easily get trapped in what he calls the rat race. It's that cycle, You earn more, so you spend more. Your expenses rise to meet your income, so you're always needing that next paycheck, always working for money, no matter how much you make.
Right, just running faster on the wheel.
Precisely. Financial literacy is the knowledge you need to break that cycle, to understand how to use your money to generate more money independent of your job.
And that's where entrepreneurship and investment come in, right? As a practical ways to actually do that.
Exactly. That's the application. Instead of just trading your time for money, like in a job, you're either building systems that's entrepreneurship or you're buying assets that's investing that generate income more passively.
Okay.
It shifts the focus from your salary to building these independent income streams. It's about gaining financial freedom, really. And that's also why the book warns, don't rely solely on formal education for financial success. Because these skills, they're generally not taught in schools.
Makes sense. Now, the book's hugely popular, but it's not without its critics, is it?
Yeah.
The review mentions the writing style is, well, straightforward and at times repetitive.
That's a common point.
And maybe more seriously, critics say it lacks practical steps and is too anecdotal. That could be a sticking point for someone looking for a concrete plan. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And those are fair criticisms. It's definitely not a how-to investment guide. You won't find detailed spreadsheets or specific investment strategies. It's very much based on Kiyosaki's own experiences and the lessons he says he learned. More like parables than a textbook. So yeah, if you want actionable step-by-step advice, this might feel frustrating.
So if it's not a practical guide, why has it remained so influential for so long? What's its real strength?
I think its undeniable power lies in its ability to fundamentally shift your perspective, your mindset.
Okay.
It might lack the how-to, but what it does incredibly well is act as a powerful a wake-up call. It challenges those deeply ingrained beliefs many of us have about jobs, security, and how wealth is built.
So it opens your eyes to other possibilities.
Exactly. For anyone who's only ever thought about money in terms of getting a paycheck, it introduces a completely different way of thinking. It doesn't give you the map, maybe, but it makes you realize you need a map and inspires you to go find one.
And given that strength, the review suggests it's particularly good for certain people.
Yeah, it seems ideal for Beginners in personal finance, maybe young professionals just starting out, or really anyone who feels kind of stuck in that paycheck-to-paycheck cycle.
People looking for that initial spark, maybe.
Precisely. It's
Got
for
it.
those who need that mindset shift first before they get into the nuts and bolts.
Go.
So wrapping up this deep dive, what we've really uncovered from the review of Rich Dad, Poor Dad is that financial success, according to Kiyosaki, it often starts with a different way of thinking. Changing your perspective on assets, income, work, rather than just chasing a bigger salary.
It's about that fundamental mindset shift.
Right. It's about learning a different language of money, you could say.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. Considering that core contrast in the book between the poor dad focused on job security and the rich dad focused on assets, what deeply ingrained financial assumption maybe about your house, your job, or even what education truly means for wealth might you be ready to re-examine?